Howdy folks, welcome back to World of Warplanes with the mighty Jingles. The hot news is that World of Warplanes is going into open release on the 26th of September. You have a look at the top left of the screen there, you can see I already have a unified account. That's my World of Tanks premium time also extended to World of Warplanes here. So I figured it was time I came back, had another look at the game and see if it's improved any since the last time I looked at it. So what I'm going to do is just jump straight into the tutorial, which is probably going to be the first thing that everybody does the first time they flash this game up, and see what the experience is like.
Welcome to your first training flight.
Okay, the flight instructor
to the training area to start your gunnery practice.
Sounds like he's talking to somebody with learning difficulties.
Activate boost to pick up airspeed.
But to be fair, English isn't everybody's first language. So all they're doing is making sure that you can be understood, whether you speak Romanian, Albanian, French, Greek, Turkish, Spanish, whatever. If you're a native English speaker, however, it does sound a little funny.
Gunnery practice starts. Destroy the first balloon. Fire.
What the hell is that?
Target destroyed.
Did you see that? Did you see what happened to that balloon?
Destroy the second balloon.
As its health bar went down. Watch this again.
Fire.
Watch this.
Target destroyed.
Oh, I mean, I suppose it's cute that they're implementing
Destroy the third
staged
balloon.
damage model, if you like, but I have never seen such an obvious
Prepare to
transition
fire.
between the various different damage stages of the model.
Fire.
Look at this.
Target destroyed.
Oh no. That is so funny.
Destroy the target aircraft.
You know, you have to keep reminding yourself this is very, very much an arcade flight sim. I mean, aircraft have health bars, so you have to adjust your expectations
Training
accordingly.
target destroyed.
If this thing's competing with anything, and everybody always uses War Thunder as the yardstick, because let's face it, that is this game's single biggest competitor. It's War Thunder arcade battles that this thing's competing with, not historical battles, and certainly not full real battles.
Greetings, pilot.
So, you know, you can't criticise this thing for not being 100% realistic. It's not even attempting to be 100% realistic.
Dogfight with less
You know, that's missing the point. It's an arcade flight simulator, and it should be judged as an arcade flight simulator. I definitely need to adjust the mouse sensitivity though. You can see I'm having to work far too hard here to turn this thing around. But, you know, that can be changed.
Dogfight training with less maneuverable enemy completed.
It's not a problem with the game, it's a problem with the way the controls are set up.
Proceed to the start of the second stage.
What is a problem with the game is that the default controls that you're lumbered with if you do the tutorial as the first thing that you do when you jump into the game, and let's face it, that's going to be the first thing most people do when they jump into the game, is that you once again still don't have the ability to roll the bloody aircraft. Your default mouse control setup does not include key controls for rolling the aircraft left and right. And this tutorial would have been over a lot faster if I'd been able to do that.
Fly to the marker.
So once you've played through these tutorials and cursed the unresponsiveness and the inability to make the aircraft do what you want it to do, which is a major black mark in any kind of flight sim, arcade or not, you're going to want to go into the control setup and set them up to something that isn't completely retarded, as the default setup is. This part of the tutorial, yeah, and it's difficult to be too critical because I could at least figure out what it wanted me to do. And the fact that it is even trying to teach you about how to deal with a more manoeuvrable enemy aircraft is admirable. So, you know, it gets marks for that. But the point is, I had to figure out what it was trying to tell me to do. Why it couldn't just tell me. What's happening here is it's basically saying to you, it's a more manoeuvrable aircraft, it's trying to teach you how to boom and zoom. It just doesn't do a very good job of it. I was at least able to figure out what it was trying to get me to do and start doing it. But I shouldn't have to figure it out. Its tutorial should be telling me and making it obvious. The whole thing sort of feels like it was written by somebody who didn't speak a word of English, translated into English by somebody for whom English wasn't their first language, and then read out in English by somebody who's not very good at reading. And it's quite surprising, because one thing Wargaming does very, very well is slick presentation. But just not in this tutorial. Oh, Jingles, you're so critical. Well, duh. You do understand what a review is, don't you? Well, it wouldn't be doing you guys any favours if I saw stuff that was wrong, annoying, irritating, bugged, and I didn't mention it. And it doesn't really matter what my opinion of any of this stuff is. What matters is that I at least show it to you.
Dogfight training with a more maneuverable enemy completed.
You can then draw your own conclusions. Whether you agree with me or not isn't important. What's important is that I show it all to you.
Follow the arrow.
And I know there are going to be people out there who've written this game off immediately as soon as they realised that there were health bars above all the aircraft. And that's not fair. And I know there are going to be people that are going to write this game off immediately because it's a wargaming product. There are just wargaming haters out there. They hate World of Tanks. And so they've written this game off instantly just because they hate World of Tanks. You know, because the internet is full of idiots like that. And that's not fair, because this is a different game. It deserves to be looked at as a different game. Here, this is a... I feel kind of guilty ragging on this tutorial as much as I have, because it's trying to show you basic gunnery skills, which is a good thing. It's trying to show you how to deal with less manoeuvrable aircraft. It's trying to show you how to deal with more manoeuvrable aircraft. It's trying to show you how to boom and zoom. And now it's trying to show you how to take out an aircraft from an increased altitude. And the fact that it's at least trying to show you all of this stuff is a good thing. Its execution could be better. But that's not something to get overly critical about. I mean, I'm not going to forgive it for not allowing me to roll a bloody aircraft, but as tutorials go, I've seen a lot worse. I mean, it's fairly safe to say that the hardcore flight simulator crowd will not be giving this game a second look, because it is not a hardcore flight simulator, nor does it pretend to be. You're unlikely to ever see a video from RAM JB, for example. Uh-oh. Oops. Yeah, you're unlikely to ever see a video from RAM JB on World of Warplanes. So, you guys who do enjoy your arcade flight sims, I mean, this is who this video is aimed at. Let's give this another go. That's better. Yeah, there you go. I made a real dog's dinner of that the first time around. So there you go, tutorial complete. So, some of the complaints that I addressed With World of Warplanes, the last time I did a video of this thing, months and months and months ago, they're just still here. And this isn't difficult stuff to fix. And it just seems so blindingly obvious. But once again, unable to roll the aircraft using the default controls. The game kept telling me, you are not locked onto your target. Well, you know, you're the tutorial. Tell me how to do it. Don't complain that I'm not doing it. Tell me what button I have to press. You know, because you're the tutorial. But no, you know, stuff like that, far too complicated. So before I even consider taking this thing up against other human pilots, I need to fix the controls. And it's really, really disappointing that once again, I mean, you log in the game for the first time, and by default, this is the control setup. I mean, there are a whole bunch of different control setups, but this is not the first thing you see when you log in. You've got mouse version 0.4.1, you've got keyboard, you've got joystick, you've got gamepad. So there are a whole bunch of control options. But the default control scheme, if you're a mouse and keyboard user, as the overwhelming majority of players are going to be, because it's an arcade flight sim, this is going to be it. And there is no option to do simple things like roll the bloody aircraft. It's just not part of this control scheme. I mean, I know it's basic controls, but I didn't expect it to be that basic, and it's still the same as it was. Months later, numerous patches later, it's... You know, I mean, we're talking here about people who are going to log into the game for the very first time, and the first thing they see is, do you want to do a tutorial? And that's great. That's great. But you need to teach people how to do stuff, otherwise the tutorial doesn't serve a purpose. And things like rolling the aircraft, we're not talking advanced combat maneuvers here. We're talking basic flight controls. And if your default control scheme does not allow you to use those basic flight controls, it fails as a tutorial. Simple as that. You can actually roll the aircraft using the default control scheme, but you have to go in and set it up yourself. I had to set this up. Just, no. It's just, you shouldn't have to do this. But you do. Not only that, the game kept whining at me that I wasn't locked onto the target. Well, you're a tutorial. Don't complain that I'm not locking on. Tell me how to do it. That's what a tutorial's supposed to do. But no, I had to finish the tutorial, come out and investigate it for myself. And if it sounds like I'm complaining about something that's easy to do, well, yeah, I am complaining about something that's easy to do. Because a tutorial shouldn't complain at you for not doing what it wants you to do. It should show you how to do it. That's why they call it a tutorial. But it doesn't. So I'm complaining. Things like this, the battle interface. There it is, lock target. Would it have been so hard, instead of just whining at you for not locking onto the target, to just tell you press C to lock onto the target? How hard can it be? It's World of Warplanes. So, there we go, we're set up. I've increased the mouse sensitivity, or have I? Because it was horrible. It was very, very... I was constantly having to just work to try to turn the aircraft when all I wanted to do was roll it and flip it around, but couldn't do that. So I've set things up the way I think I would like them to work. Let's have a go. So here we go. Total World of Warplanes noob playing his first game against actual player pilots. I've got my controls set up more or less the way I want. Turn the music down though, it's far too loud by default. This is what you can expect the first time you play. Now,
good hunting.
Thank you. There you go. I can roll this thing now, which is just double the level of control that I actually have over the aircraft, which is fairly important in a flight sim. Now, my frame rate still kind of sucks, and that's disappointing, but I don't seem to be getting much better frame rates than I did the last time I tried this game, but at the same time the view feels a lot smoother, so they've definitely done something. to improve. Well, they've done something with the graphics engine. Don't know what it is, but whatever it was, it worked. Because while my frame rate isn't any better than it was, and I do have a fairly powerful machine, it doesn't feel like I'm flying through, you know, thick molasses anymore. And the you know, it just feels a lot smoother, despite not getting any more frames per second. So, again, don't know what they did, but whatever it was, it worked, and it worked pretty well.
Target hit.
And possibly more importantly than anything else, I feel like I'm actually flying an aircraft. Whereas previously when playing World of Warplanes, I didn't. I felt like I was fighting a control system. And it does seem to look a lot better as well. Oh crap.
A wing is damaged. Maneuverability reduced.
What? I'm still flying. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I lost some health points. And I've got somebody on my ass. And they've said maneuverability reduced. But it doesn't feel... I mean, look, I'm still able to put this thing through some pretty tough maneuvers. It doesn't actually feel as if the airplane has been affected at all. I still feel like I'm in control. Oh dear.
The aircraft is destroyed.
Yeah. The aircraft should have been destroyed a minute ago. Okay, so we got some good things and some bad things there. The bad things, hopefully, are obvious, and I shouldn't have to repeat them. The good things, graphics are improved. It is a lot prettier than it used to be. I don't know what it is they've done to the graphics engine, but they've managed to somehow improve the quality, the smoothness, while maintaining the same frame rate. So, well done for that. And it does look good. Those of us who've been spoiled by War Thunder's graphics engine, well, you know, it's no contest. War Thunder does look better. But this looks pretty good. You know, the lighting effects, the terrain, the detailing on the aircraft models isn't bad at all. What the hell is that? Oh dear. This aircraft is being hit by flak. That's what those orange smudges are supposed to be. And just when it was all going so well. You know, and it's just little things like this. It doesn't by any stretch of the imagination ruin the game. Well, I'm not saying that at all. But they've made such leaps and bounds in certain areas. And then in others, like, just look at that. How difficult would that be to improve? I mean, it doesn't destroy the game by any stretch of the imagination, but just when you're thinking to yourself, you know, wow, very impressed with what they've done with the graphics engine of World of Warplanes, and then you see something that just looks as amateurish as that. I mean, I'm trying to give credit where credit's due here, Wargaming. You're not helping. Some of the sound effects are still a bit ropey as well. Hear that? That might not look as bad. You know, if the sound effect associated with it wasn't so... It sounds like a scooter backfiring rather than a shell impact. Oh, Jingles, you're always so critical. It's only a beta test. No, it isn't. This game's going on general release on the 26th of September. Right now, while I'm recording this, it's the 31st of August. This is going live in 26 days. Did you see that? Oh my god. That was so funny. Let's hope he brings this thing around and we can see that thing again. He is. Did you see that crash? That heavy fighter just crashed into nothing. And is now hanging in midair. Oh no. Oh dear. Oh, I can't believe I caught that. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that there are still a few bugs in the game. Yeah, I think we can safely say we can expect World of Warplanes to ship with a couple of bugs still included. But hey, you know, I'm not picking on World of Warplanes. What game doesn't ship with a few bugs included? Overall, I must say I am very impressed with the improvements that they have made. This is the first time I've played World of Warplanes and I felt like I was actually controlling an aircraft, you know, even with mouse and keyboard. You know, the graphics are improved, the frame rate hasn't dropped, the sound effects are a bit hit and miss. There's a couple of hilarious bugs still present, but I mean, look at this guy throwing it around. You can pull off some impressive manoeuvres. It's vastly improved. I mean, the closed beta was a disaster. It was just a bloody awful game in the closed beta. Throughout most of the open beta, it wasn't that good. But I think they've pretty much finally nailed it. I can't really see it getting any better than this. And at the moment, it's good enough. You know, you can have fun playing this. And at the end of the day, it's an arcade flight sim. And having fun is all that we demand of it. So, are you going to want to play this game? Well, if you already play War Thunder, then no, you're probably not going to want to play World of Warplanes. Your opinion may differ, and, you know, that's fine. But I do think that War Thunder is, well, it's unquestionably a better optimised and better looking game. Whether you think it plays any better is entirely your own opinion. On the other hand, if you don't already have a War Thunder account, and you're shopping around for an arcade flight sim, you could do worse than World of Warplanes. They're both free to play. Give them both a try. Play the one you prefer the most. If you already have a World of Tanks account and you don't play War Thunder, it would probably make more sense for you to take up World of Warplanes. For no other reason than because the unified premium account is already here in the game. And what that pretty much means is that if you're running a premium account in World of Tanks, for example, as you can see I do, if you look up there in the top left corner of the screen, you'll see that the premium account time I have in World of Tanks also covers my World of Warplanes account. So if you're sitting on the fence and you don't know whether to jump into World of Warplanes or War Thunder, and you already have a World of Tanks account, it just makes sense to choose World of Warplanes. If you're after a hardcore flight simulation, yeah, you probably already turned this video off and went to watch something else within 3 minutes of the video starting, so I don't know why I'm talking to you anymore. Because this is certainly not a hardcore flight simulation, but it's not pretending to be, and it does a pretty good job of what it is, an arcade flight sim. It's easily comparable to War Thunder's arcade battle mode, and that's not a bad thing, because War Thunder's arcade battle mode is pretty stiff competition. And it's nice to see World of Warplanes finally closing the gap, because it means that the die-hard wargaming fanboys who've kept the flame wars going in my last World of Warplanes video and made it probably one of my most popular and commented on videos ever, thanks for that, you know, you finally have the game you deserve. World of Warplanes is a decent game. And for those of us who prefer War Thunder and are probably not going to be playing World of Warplanes, well, it means that War Thunder finally has the competition it deserves. And that incentive is there for Gaijin to keep improving their game as well. So everybody's a winner. And if after all that you're still sitting on the fence and you don't know which way to jump, download the game and try it for yourself. It doesn't cost you anything other than the downloader. Take care out there, folks. I'll catch you next time.